For the latest top tips, reviews and advice, please subscribe below.
Hello and welcome to Attwoolls Outdoors with me, Mike. Today I'm going to give you guys a bit of a review video on a brand new awning from Vango. So this here is the Vango Agora VW. So the Agora Air is a new model and it sits in kind of Vango's sport collection. So it's almost there in between range between kind of like the Keelers and then the sort of entry points like the Pharoses. So joys of it, and in many ways it's very similar to the Hexway that we've kind of very much known and love, a bit with a different twist. So the thing about the sport range, it's all been designed to be small, compact, and designed for much more smaller vans like your sort of Ford Transit, VW classic styles. So one thing you see is in terms of the attachment height, it goes from 180 to 195, whereas typically their low range is 180 to 210. So that 15cm drop means that you can get the side of it looking absolutely pucker like that. I mean, I've got the rail here about 195, about 190 dead on, and it just sits a lot nicer. It looks more professional in my opinion, and just overall means less fabric, so again the pack size reduces down. It uses 105 gram per square meter fabric, so it's like saying it's more sort of like a 150 denier, but you've got this sort of hex kind of embossed material on it as well, just to sort of give it that bit more of a premium look. It's available in two different colours, so we've got the Moroccan blue, which we've got here with that sort of like orange trim, matches really nicely with the orange guy rope. Alternatively, you've got the shadow grey as well. For me, actually, surprisingly, I really do like the Moroccan colour. I mean, I've got, like I said, a nice green van and a blue, and they say green and blue should never mix, but I think actually it suits it quite nicely, and certainly the lighter colour sort of lifts it a bit and it feels quite nice inside. Essentially what they've kind of created really here is just almost like a little gazebo, which then has the attachment going too. Not too dissimilar to the Hexway, but almost like a slightly lower spec version of it. You've got two nice big mesh windows allowing plenty of light in there, but obviously you can zip that up and down as well, so you've got airflow running through and a really nice big panel. The joy is actually in many ways you can create this like a gazebo that all the panels will happily zip across to one another. So if I take, for example, you can roll this panel back, roll it back there, there's ties either side, and you can go left to right or right to left, so it's quite versatile. Alternatively, what you can also do is almost sort of take it all the way to the floor, of course unpeg it, be a bit lazy, and then just bung the sides inside on the corners. So I said, it then kind of gives you the idea you can open it fully. With the ventilation, you've got a really nice airflow through, and the ground sheet on this particular model is actually sewn in. The sides itself will toggle up and toggle down, so that way you kind of have almost like a trip-free area, which is quite nice. So then that goes down like so, and you can step in and outside the awning quite happily. So the two side panels are exactly the same. The front panel itself is a little bit different, so you've still got kind of that full frontal panel. Difference being is now is that you've got a full frontal mesh door. So again, you can do the same kind of idea with this, where you can roll it to the side, or alternatively, like I said, just open it all up like I did previously. But having that sort of whole kind of mesh area means that you can almost have this sort of, like I said, gazebo kind of sheltered area to sort of have as a very communal section. So it means that you can either use it for storage, or alternatively actually there's a sleeping pod that can go in there as well, which is like a BR004 bedroom, so you could sleep someone inside of there if you wanted to. But that full frontal mesh obviously is great protection when you've got lights on in the middle of the night and a table playing cards, but you've got that sort of, like I said, the bugs and all the critters can't come in and sort of spoil your party. A single point inflation can pitch it, and you can see from our own Attwoolls pitching and packing video myself doing it in the best part of 7 or 8 minutes. So it's very easy to put up, which means it's perfect for touring, dropping from place to place, even for a night stay. It's not a huge amount to put up, for example, so You could just literally rock up on a day, put it up, take it down the next morning. So that is one of its sort of key things. You've got high visibility guy ropes as well, located down the bottom, and little things like little ties for the guy ropes to go back into its point. You've got this pre-arch kind of system where everything goes up and around, so it means that you've got great interior height. So for me, being about 6'2", I can happily stand up right in the corner, for example. But what we'll do, we'll grab the camera in a moment anyway and have a little look through on the inside. But one last thing to mention is the fact that you've got a door in the tunnel section, and the same for both sides. Now what this allows you to do is actually enter into your camper van without having to go through the awning every single time. And again, here you can just roll that back, toggle that back nice and neatly. Thank you. And then you've got a solid entranceway. This kind of middle section really always is more of a sheltered area. You know, it's never going to be completely watertight. There's additional footprint you can buy for it, which I would recommend certainly for this model because you've got that sewn in ground sheet. And with that section, you get an extra one to go in that tunnel section we have here. But overall, really quite smart. So let's have a little look on the inside and talk through a few more features that the Agora's got to offer. So from the front facing of the Agora, you can kind of see that nice big crystal clear PVC window that we've got. And as what I showed you from the outside, we can obviously remove that down and actually make the most of, you know, sort of the internal space. So if I were to kind of take the fly mesh out the way and take that off to one side, then it sort of shows you the clear PVC window as it is. Now the window curtains on here zip up and down, so you can almost get almost like a half moon kind of style. So it means you can get sort of the ultimate amount of privacy, like so. Alternatively, bring that down halfway, fold the fabric over, and then you can kind of adjust the levels as you need to. When you don't want the window itself, all you do is simply roll it away. It almost sits in its own little pocket down here. And it's just sort of neat and tidy. What we'll do now is we'll just roll this panel completely away. I will probably, should I roll it up? Yeah, we'll roll it up, why not? I'm not done that yet. So we can sort of just fold that straight over. A little bit. And just roll it from one side to the other. And again, because you've got two zip pullers, one either side, you can go left to right or right to left. So it's nice having that flexibility that you can almost do kind of what you want with it. You've got these extra long kind of cords locks as well, and you can put them through and then just pull that to adjust it, just to kind of keep it all at bay. So a decent sort of size space in here as well. Plenty of room. Like I said, when we'll bring the camera in just a second, you've got tons of interior headroom. In terms of fixing it to the van itself, you've got multiple methods. So you can use, you've got a pre-sewn on bit of CADA. So if you've got a rail, you can buy a fixing kit to attach it to a rail as well. You've got a pole and clamp kit, so there's a sleeve for a pole just to go into a gutter. You've also got throw-over straps included, so you can just throw those over the top. Or also you've got Velcro tabs kind of pre-sewn onto it. So again, you've got the flexibility that it doesn't really matter what you've got in your van, you can always just sort of accommodate it. If you are a bit unsure about what is the best method to use, you can always take a photo of your vans, email it to us, and then we can obviously advise from there on. The tunnel section is a really nice sort of size depth. You've got a CADA length around about sort of 2.6, which happily fits most VW vans, and the joys means that because you've got the extra width, when you open the door up, the door sits happily in that tunnel. Obviously making sure you position it right, of course, but it means that you haven't got to worry about marking it along the top or anything. The door in this section, as you can see here, can be completely sort of zipped up. So when you drive away, this whole tunnel section that I'm in now sort of roll backs, toggles there nicely, and then just, this almost is, like I said, exactly as a gazebo. And I suppose in many ways that is one of the benefits of it, is the fact that you can treat this like a gazebo that you could use just for day out, for in the house, or if you want to take camping instead of going away, you can just utilise that, which means it's a really nice and versatile product. Like I said, headroom height is brilliant, not only in the main body but also in the tunnel section, because you've got kind of that dome kind of shape. It means you've got loads of room into here, just giving that a bit more versatility. The stone ground sheet, if you want the additional bedroom which you can buy, admittedly will take up the whole centre of the actual sort of awning. So you've got little points located down the bottom here and here, and it will fit in just there. What are you doing? That goes in here. So it's going to be dead centred, and I suppose if you put up for a night, you sleep somewhere inside of it, during the daytime you take it down and utilise the internal space. You've got Vango's SkyTrack system as well, so the ability to have sort of hanging point from any points. If you wanted to have sort of like a storage pocket hanging down or lights running along the roof, you can do that as well. And it goes on all 4 of the tubes, so you go from here upwards down to the other side. So personally I quite like the idea of having a flexible light running across the roof, sort of putting light directly down, so when you're here playing cards on a table or doing whatever you want to do with this section, it works really nicely. The clips located for the bedroom section are sort of located there and in the corners here, so again you can kind of see how big that sort of size is. You also get this little sheet as well, just sort of help with condensation, but also it just kind of covers up the beam structure behind, making it a little bit nicer. And you've got the same kind of pattern curtains on that. There you go, nice sort of pattern curtains again with that kind of hex honeycomb style kind of pattern with it. Let's pick up the camera now and talk for a few more features I've not yet to mention on the Agora. So, I think, yeah, from a pitch size wise, it looks really, really nice. When you've got it sort of all open, it works really well. There is a webbing strap on the inside of the tunnel section, which is located here, so you can adjust the height of it. So, again, if you want to get a bit more torsion, so if you haven't got the luxury of getting that nice and tight, because it is, like I said, a universal fit from about 15 centimetres between vehicles, you can do that, and that will mean that the door itself would work really quite nicely. And you've got that sort of area. And as you see here, because the rail sort of protrudes from the van, you never get a dead tight, but you can get it quite nice and snug. And it's only really, like I said, a sheltered area to and from the van itself. You've got the extra long ties here, which is the points to when the tunnel section rolls back and keeps it all neat and tidy. Like I said, the interior height, you've got a good sort of space behind there. But when you sort of come inside of it and sort of look down in the corner, you've got that sort of 360-degree view around when you've got all the panels open, so it works really, really nicely. And again, having that versatility when you've got essentially a mesh door as well as a normal door and a window, it means you've got a great airflow running throughout the tent. The SkyTrack system is located also on the cross members. You can probably just about see it there, kind of the clear beading. And then you've got that little lining in the roof section to make it all feel quite nice and bright. The toggle points in the corner. And yeah, again, you've got the clips located on the grounds, which I said are dead centre pretty much for the whole section. And you can see we've got kind of the ground sheet lipped almost up there and then sort of down there. So it's a little bit just enough. And when you've got the size in place, you can see you've got a little flap on the external panel which tucks underneath just to keep everything all neat and tidy. But I think, like I said, really popular model I think it's going to be, just because it's like, in a price point wise, it's a little bit cheaper than the Hexaway, just because mainly the fabric and obviously less beams, there's less structure to it. But it's a decent sort of size, you know, perfect, like I said, for a more of a living scenario rather than a sleeping scenario. But you've got the ability to do that if you wanted to. So I think it's going to be a massive hit sort of going for the 2021 season going forward. In terms of the colour preference, not overly sure. I think it probably would be a very 50-50, very Marmite-y, whether people like it to match the van or want something a bit lighter. I'd say this feels more, I don't know, happy? I don't use happy as a way to describe a product. But more light, more airy, more, yeah, it does, but because of the blue, I think it pops a little bit more. You kind of, whereas the grey's a bit too bland sometimes. But then, like I said, personal preference really, down to what you kind of want to do with it really. But in essence, that's kind of our little video review on the Agora. For more information, check in the link below. It'll take us to our website, we'll get you all the information, talking about sort of pack weight, about 17 odd kilograms, and also the overall footprint size of it and all the bits you can get with it. So all the information's there at a touch of a button. For any more information, feel free to let us know. You can always comment in blocks or contact us directly if you're worried about the fit of the van. So that's always tends to be a bit of a sticking point. So, but that, like I said, that is our kind of video review on the new Vango Agora Air VW for 2021 going forward.